Everybody, this is Tyler Smith. I am going to walk through today. My walkthrough today is going to be focused on the tips and tricks on improving your speed with Visual Studio Code. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to start out with this Markdown file, and okay, here's essentially the big goal: is to get you going faster. And the way that you do that is by using keyboard shortcuts. And I'm sure a lot of you already use keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to show you a few of my favorites today, as well as beyond just keyboard shortcuts. We'll do other things other than that. But that's the big message: is the less you rely on the mouse, the better. Okay. First, let me show you what I did here. I'm going to do that again so you can see it. And I know I'm using my mouse, and I know I haven't found a way to do that part yet. So if you do Control forward slash or backslash, I gotta learn my slashes, it'll split the screen. And then if you're over here, you click Control Shift V. And I'm sorry, Mac users, I don't know the commands on the Mac by memory, but I'm just gonna use this, the Windows commands for now. Then it shows you the preview. So we're gonna use this, and we're gonna go from here. Okay, that's the big goal: use keyboard shortcuts. First, let's create a file. I'm going to do Control S, index.html, and I'm sure there'll be things that we learned today that you already know. That's okay. Hopefully you learned something new. This is an Emmet abbreviation. They are pure gold. I just press Enter, and this is going to be my project 3. Okay. First, we're going to do Command Palette. If you do Control P, it lets you see all the files in your repository, or at least all the ones that you've viewed. And then you can switch between them. And if you haven't yet viewed one like app.j.js and it's in this folder over here, then it will show. And it's an easy way of switching, so you don't have to click and then, click and click. So that's the first way, is Command P. This is your control palette, and it's awesome. If you do read me, enter, switches, right? The other way is Control Tab, and then it just lets you alternate between the two. So I use those nonstop. Let's see. Next is the classes. So if you're doing an H1 tag and you put dot class name and enter, it will automatically put it into a class. This is my header. Okay. And then let's say you want to use IDs. If you do P or whatever tag it is, hashtag or pound sign, my ID, enter, it will automatically put it in ID. Next is, if we do, you can move that tag by holding down Alt and then doing up arrow or down arrow, and it will move it wherever. If you hold Control Shift down, it will duplicate it. Okay, so that is pretty neat. If you want to, next is, we're going to go over multi-line coding. This is super cool. I wish I knew about this earlier. Let's say you want to access my ID dot value, super cool words. Okay, and then we do this Control Alt Shift down, and we realize, oh no, we made a mistake. This should not be value. This should be inner HTML, since we want to put it inside the p tag. All you got to do is Control D, and it will highlight all of them. And then you have all of these highlighted, and you can change them to inner HTML. This is so cool. This has saved my life many times, and I wish I knew about this earlier. And then if you press Escape, it will take you back to the first one. Okay? And yeah, you could do it. Anything that sub-highlights, like you see down here, Control D. Now you're cooking with Crispo. Okay. Next is finding code on the page. Again, Control P. That does the trick. This is my perfect. There it is. The other one I want to show you, and then you press Escape and you're good, is Control Shift P. Now, or Control Shift F. Now, this will look for all of the occurrences in your entire folder. So whatever the parent folder is, it'll look through every file, and you can look and see, okay, there it is, right? Pretty neat. I'm going to skip down and do a few more things with Control Shift P. You can also do Control Shift or Control H. Again, will replace something. So header with title, Control Alt Enter will automatically replace all occurrences. Let's say you want to do it in every file in here. Oh, and then Control Shift E takes you to the Explorer, and you can kind of just hover over and see what it is. Okay. If you want to replace something in the entire folder, like all the files, what you can do is, again, you can see all the occurrences in here. And in this case, ooh, that's tricky, right? We don't want to replace that. We just want to replace that. So let me show you a way. So again, that's how you can do replace everything in the entire, all files in your folder. Another thing that is kind of in finding code on the page is, let's say you have a variable, and I'm going to go back to the Project Explorer. Let's say you have a variable, and const my var equals hello world. And right here, multi-line commenting, my var. Okay, let's say this occurs in many places. My var equals something else. And you realize about halfway through that this is not a very descriptive name, right? This is a pretty bad name. Ooh, let's make it a little more fun. My var2. Okay. And you, okay, we're gonna make this a little more fun. My var2. Perfect. Oops. Okay. And you want to change just my var. But the problem is when you do your multi-line commenting, oh no, it's getting in the way of this as well. So this is a way that you can change just the my var variable. And you can use keyboard shortcuts, but it's a little much. If you right click, you can do find all references. It will find all references of my var and just my var, not my var2. And then you can replace them by doing right click, rename symbol, my var also, and it will only change my var, not my var2. So that's a super handy trick that I just recently learned. Okay, let's go into debugging. Now, debugging is straight gold in Visual Studio Code, and I brought up another project that I'm doing at work to just show the full extent. It's just, you can put breakpoints right here, and it will pause, and then you can inspect. If we go into, it's just a lot of data, but it's really good because if you have dates and stuff, it shows you all of them, it shows you the length, it shows you a lot of different things, and it's just really good. Or fn function f11 for me is what will take it to the next line, and function f5 will it'll play the file. Okay, so that is debugging. There's a lot to know and to do in debugging, but I really like the debugging in Visual Studio Code. Okay, the next is working with Git. So with Git, if you do control, I really don't know the character. It's this character. This character. It's like the yeah, it's that key. I think it's tilde. If you do control tilde, it will take you to the power. It'll take you to PowerShell, and then you can switch whichever one you want. Okay, so we are going to then see what we got going in Git. I'm going to do a little Git status. Oh, it's not a repository. I'm going to walk you through Git commands real quick because this is also important. I know this isn't a Git walkthrough, but I think it's vital. So we're going to do Git init. Okay, perfect. Git is initialized. Then we're going to add it to this. We're going to add it to the repository. And then, well, that's staging it. Then git commit -am. This is your all message. Initial commit, and then we're going to push it to now git remote add origin, git remote add origin, and then here's your HTTPS beep 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 www.github.com/. Okay, and then it adds it to the repository, and then you will push, and after setting it upstream, origin master. Okay, and then you just push it. So that is regarding Git. Now we're going to go into some fun stuff. We're going to look more into some, oops, didn't know I did that. We're going to look more into some extensions. If you do Control-Shift-E, no, Control-Shift, what is it? X, Control-Shift-X. You can look in the extensions. Extensions are awesome. One of the extensions I have is, if you look right here, script, if I change, oh, I have not yet changed. One of the extensions is auto rename tags. And I don't yet have this installed on my other computer, so this is good. This is really good. And once it's installed, change, you notice it also automatically rechanges the other tag. And we don't want that. That's nice. So these are there's some really cool extensions out there you can get on the marketplace. Git Lens is a really good one. I have this one installed. And what you can do is, if it's a repository like in this one, when I hover over it, I can hover over this right here. 2 weeks ago adds main for pipeline. You can then, I think you have to be out of, you can hover over, yeah, and it will tell you this was committed on March 3rd. Here's the comment or the message for the commit. Here's the number that represents it. I mean, it's escaping my mind. And then any changes. So really cool. This is really good if you're working on a big team and you want to see, like, okay, this code failed, who did it, who's responsible. You can see who did it as well. And then you can email them. Super awesome. Really, really good. There are a lot more extensions you can look at and find. I know there's a lot for JavaScript. There's a lot for React. Yeah, extensions are great. Okay, so I got ahead of myself, as you can see. I did find all references and rename symbol. I showed you that already. Here's a quote I love. There are only 2 hard things in computer science: cache and validation, and naming things. That is perfectly said, Phil. I couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, that pretty much concludes my walkthrough. There's a lot more you can do, but again, big idea, keyboard shortcuts, people. They make a huge difference, and they go a long way. They double your efficiency, triple, and they really just, I enjoy them. I really do enjoy them. So here are all the keyboard shortcuts for Windows, and here are all the keyboard shortcuts for Mac on Visual Studio Code. Take a look. Again, as you can see, I only showed you a fraction of the full capacities that you can leverage with Visual Studio Code. So take a look at these. You can just kind of copy their URLs. And happy coding. It's super fun. Thanks for watching.